Closed captioning for the Casey Malone Show is sponsored by Hunter Stevens Land Title Agency. Integrity, service, and commitment you can trust.
Oh yeah, Casey Malone is serving up local. It's time for the stories of our region, the tastes, the sights, the sounds, and the people in and around the valley. Get ready for some local flavor on the Casey Malone Show.
Today, Braceville natives share their history at the Braceville African American Heritage Museum. And I make an easy dinner. It's sheep and pork fajitas. But first, prom season is here, and the fairy godmothers at DivaDonations have your dress. I am at DivaDonations, and this is just a small part of what they offer. And basically, it is free dresses.
Yes.
For proms, for homecomings, for special events, for talent competitions, for beauty pageants, even weddings. And you offer this service free of charge.
Yes.
How did you start this mission? Because it's amazing.
Well, my daughter was getting ready to move out of the house. I actually have 4 girls and 1 son.
Okay.
And she was getting ready to move out of the house, and she had 15 dresses in her closet. And the reason she had 15 dresses in her closet was because we used to help her girlfriend go to dances after she was refused to be let into a dance because she didn't have the proper clothing.
Oh my gosh. So you were already doing this,
right?
But it was on a much smaller
scale.
And so what did you do? You just started putting the word out, let's help these girls that need some dresses.
So what happened was we had put a post on Facebook that said, prom is coming. If anybody needs a dress, let me know. If anybody has a dress, let me know. I ended up with 200 dresses in 3 months. So instead of cleaning out my daughter's closet, we ended up filling up her bedroom.
Wow.
With dresses.
And you ran it out of there.
Yeah.
And in addition to the dresses, you accessorize. You've got a ton of shoes.
Yep.
Every size range.
Yes, all the way up to 12.
Size 12 shoes.
Yep.
And the purses and the jewelry. Now, how does this whole process work?
You'll actually go and make an appointment at DivaDonations.com. You'll click Make Appointment. At that time, you'll have a day, which is our Saturdays, because we all work during the week.
You all have jobs.
Yeah.
So these are all volunteers. All these ladies, This is a 501c3, no money.
Right.
This is a full service operation. And do you, is it a trust fest, or how do you know that these things will be returned for other girls to enjoy?
So, of course, it is a trust thing. I will tell you, we do ask for a deposit. The deposit for homecoming is $35. That includes everything.
Yes.
From our flowers, makeup, beauty bar. We even have Victoria's Secret underwear and foundation garments such as bras and corsets.
Well, excuse me.
Yeah.
And then I really like the fact that if they
donate 2 hours of volunteer service, they get their entire deposit back. That's our Kindy Currency program. And they just have to donate it to a 501c3 and bring us a letter that states you donated it. And you can even donate it to us. So we will have girls that will come, get their dress, use their dress, bring their dress back, and stay for 2 hours, because we are a 501c3.
Right.
And help
then
the girls.
They decorate or help
Clean
inventory.
Exactly. There's so many things.
Now we are in the prom room.
Yep.
And this is where they really go nuts.
Oh yeah, they're
I
shocked.
mean, this is where the dresses really can add up.
Yes.
And again, every size, every color, they're organized beautifully.
One of the things is we want to make sure that the girl's self-esteem stays positive. So we
Right.
do tell them that some of these dresses are donated. So they could be size down or size up, so please don't get frustrated, because we want to
Right.
make sure it's always a positive experience.
So fundraisers, how are you funding all your fairy godmother stuff?
So we just did an adult Easter egg hunt at Los Galos in Boardman. That was absolutely a blast. And then the other thing is we do get a lot of donations that are vintage clothing.
Yes.
And so we actually do sell that vintage clothing on our website, DivaDonations.com, on our Shop for a Cause section.
Okay.
And then all those funds immediately go back to Diva Donations.
Lynn, you are a fairy godmother.
Yes, I am.
And you help all these brides.
Yes.
And I mean, these are all donations too.
We have about 220 dresses, and 90% of them have brand new with their tags on them, and they're from Northeast Ohio bridal houses at the end of their collection year, and they donated to them because they cannot sell those again for the next year because the new collection's coming in. So that's what they're gorgeous, they're beautiful. The average price is, I would say $1,800 is here, but they go up to $3,000.
I mean, that's an expensive proposition.
Yeah. They're
and
beautiful.
What do you sell them for?
We offer them for $325, and then if you have anybody, if you're a military family, and that means your grandfather was in the military, your son's in the military, you know, just anybody, then we will give it to you we will sell it to you for $275.
And this is like, look at this one. It's a little mini bride dress. And you could wear this. I mean, this would even be good for First Communion.
Yeah.
And then it has a little tray.
Yeah, it's a little train bustled
The
up on it.
bustle.
Yeah, it's really cute.
Oh
but
my
we
gosh,
sell these.
precious.
We've been selling these a lot this summer, this spring, and for $25.
Wow. But people need a First Communion
Right.
dress.
Yeah.
I mean, the selection isn't as
Right.
huge, but
Or-
you still have some.
And if it's your wedding, you just add
Oh my
a little
gosh.
ribbon to match what your bridesmaids
That
are
is
in.
adorable.
I know, they're cute.
And like, if I wanted to do, nobody would want my old wedding dress, but if I wanted to, would you take it? If it's in good
Absolutely.
shape.
If it's
I
in
mean,
good shape and kind of modern style, don't you think?
Right.
So I will tell you this, we do make,
Back in the 1800s when I got married, I don't know if you'd be interested. That would be on your vintage thing.
well, we actually make angels out of wedding dresses, like vintage wedding dresses that we get that might be damaged or have stains on
Yes.
them. We have Christmas tree ornaments that we make angels out of. We sell for $5, and that's a fundraiser for us.
We do it all.
You guys do it all. I don't know. Aren't you exhausted?
I know. But everything here is
It's a
by
passion.
appointment, though. We have
Right. We got to stress that. It is by appointment because
Right.
all these ladies work for a living and this is their free time. And you always are looking for,
Volunteers.
Volunteers.
We
volunteer
are
fairy
fairy godmothers.
Yeah.
right? I mean, the girls can come and donate their time, but you need somebody that you can really count on.
Right.
That can donate at certain times.
Absolutely.
I mean, Lynn, this is crazy. I mean, and they're beautiful. Everything in here
Yeah,
is
they're
gorgeous.
beautiful laces and satins.
Yeah, I mean,
They have crystals.
unbelievable.
They have, full lace bodies. We pretty much
Something
have
for
something.
Every
yeah.
taste.
Yes, right.
Every taste.
The Casey Malone Show will be right back with more local flavor.
Locally sourced is good, whether it's ingredients or a bank, and that's why my bank is Farmers National Bank. Since 1887, Farmers has remained rock solid through every economic condition. Having a bank with a history of safety, soundness, and conservative management is a must. It all boils down to this. You need a bank that will help you reach your goals. I do too, and Farmers is mine. Farmers National Bank, rock solid.
Sweet Memories Vintage Teas and Candy in Liberty, a store like no other. Step through our doors and travel back in time. Remember the nostalgic candy, vintage sodas, and retro toys you thought were gone forever? You'll find all your classic favorites and so much more. Because memories are best when shared, we give back to local charities. Sweet Memories Vintage Teas and Candy, bringing you joy one memory at a time.
This is GABA Camp, barrier-free camping and nature for our friends with disabilities. Thank you for your generous donations. We now have our first phase, but more work needs to be done. A lodge will provide a meeting place and food service for our adults with disabilities and their families. GABA Camp is a 501c3 organization. We need your help to grow. Donate to GABA Camp. Giving is living.
It's patio season at Carmela's. Enjoy our family's traditional Italian favorites and creative daily specials. We're open for lunch and dinner Monday through Saturday. Carmela's on Western Reserve Road in Boardman.
Weight loss goals aren't one size fits all. At Hurricane Health and Wellness, we understand the struggle. We've been there too. That's why we offer the most popular, effective weight loss medications at an affordable price. Look and feel your best today with Hurricane Health and Wellness.
Shop C-Max Northside Appliance in Struthers, the local appliance store that beats big box prices every day.
3 generations serving Youngstown, Ohio, soon to be our 4th.
You better come on in my kitchen.
Well, today I have got a great sheet pan dinner that I think the entire family is going to like. I really like the sheet pan. You throw it in the oven, next thing you know, dinner is served. Not a lot of pans are dirty. And this time I'm gonna do sheet pan fajitas. And this is really nice because when you order fajitas in a restaurant, you kind of stink like fajitas for the rest of the night, even if the table next to you gets them. So this is in your own kitchen, you won't smell like fajitas, and you put them under the broiler. And make sure you preheat your broiler to high to get that ready to go. And this time I'm gonna use pork as an ingredient for the protein rather than chicken or beef. I'm so sick of chicken. It's just overdone, and the chicken can get dry when you use the breast part. And then the beef, if you don't cut it properly, it can be really tough if you don't go against the grain. So pork, I really like. It's a lean meat. You could use part of a pork tenderloin or a boneless, pork chop. So let's go over the ingredients. And this is really gonna be quick and delicious. It is sheet pan pork fajitas. For this recipe, you'll need 1 red pepper and 1 green pepper, stemmed, seeded, and sliced into thin strips. 2 white onions, halved and sliced into thin moons. 1 packet of fajita or taco seasoning. Extra virgin olive oil, 1.5 to 2 pounds of pork tenderloin or lean boneless pork chops sliced into strips. 1 lime halved and 1 lime cut into wedges, 8 fajita-sized flour tortillas, and for garnish, shredded sharp cheddar, jalapeno peppers, deseeded and sliced thin, salsa, chopped green onion, and cilantro. So I've got the broiler preheating on high. I have lined a nice sized baking sheet with a lip with some tin foil, and that will help with the cleanup. And then I've got my sliced peppers, sliced thin, and then the onion. So what I'm gonna do now is take a tablespoon of, this is just anything out of a packet, whatever brand you want. I use fajita seasoning, and you just sprinkle it all over the vegetables, and then drizzle it with olive oil because you wanna prevent the vegetables from sticking. And then you just toss it up. Now it's easier to just do it, in the bowl, or just dump it all on the sheet pan, and then it'll be easier to mix it up. And you want to mix these up together. And I'll tell you, under the broiler, it really adds a nice char, and that's about it. You really distribute it nicely. Now, if you want a little more punch, you can add cayenne, you can add a little bit more, but I think that the seasoning from fajita or tacos, I really think that provides enough oomph for all this stuff. And then I'm gonna put this in the oven. You could put it on the top rack or the second rack, depending on how hot your oven gets, and start checking it at about 5 or 6 minutes, but it usually goes till about 8 or 10 before they get a nice char on them. So I used the highest rack, 10 minutes, and we got a nice char on a few of the vegetables. So this looks perfect. So now what I'm gonna do is get the meat prepared. And it is the exact same process. Take a tablespoon of the fajita seasoning, sprinkle it all over, and then another drizzle with the olive oil. And I really do like pork, the other white meat. And then we are just going to mix this up. And this is about 1.5 pounds of pork. Now I am going to move the vegetables to one side, and then I want the attention to go to the pork. And we're gonna put it back in the broiler 5 to 7 minutes, because this is gonna cook really quickly. So start checking it at 5 minutes. Well, voila. This was about 7 minutes for the pork. And as you can see, we just got a little more char, which I really like, on the vegetables. Now for the finishing touch, let's just squeeze it with some fresh lime juice. And there's only one more step left. I wrapped the tortillas, I dampened them, and I put them in a damp paper towel. I'm gonna put these in the microwave for about 30 seconds. That'll soften them up and warm them up, and then we are gonna be ready to eat.
Great.
All right, so you love fajitas.
Yeah, I do.
Now, do you want your pork first or second?
I usually put my cheese down first, and then my pork goes on top, and it'll melt that.
Okay.
Just kind of a little.
Yeah, that's.
I guess it's a veteran trick.
A little fun tip from.
Yeah.
Kat.
How to eat well.
Okay.
Right, so then I go with the meat.
Right.
Just a little bit there. That looks good.
So I like vegetables first, and then I like meat. I don't really like cheese on the fajitas. That's just a personal preference. And I'm just gonna go with the
like
total
one of those
fresh
rules?
stuff. I love the cilantro.
I like the lime.
I like the green onion. And I really like a couple hot peppers. And then, hey. And then I'm just gonna do a little squeeze. There you go. So, I think an excellent cocktail for this is the Paloma cocktail, which
Love the
we've made
Paloma.
before. Cheers.
Cheers.
It's on my website. Paloma cocktail, the recipe.
All right, let's dig in.
And let's see how we did. This really looks delicious. Now look at that. That came together in under a half hour. I mean, the chopping took more time than anything.
Wow.
That is delicious.
That's fantastic.
Embrace the pig. Let's go to my website, CaseyMaloneShow.com. You're gonna find the pork fajita recipe, the Paloma recipe, and honestly, this is a great, easy meal that you can prepare for a couple or for a crowd. All right? Go to my website. Cheers.
Cheers.
One more time.
Sure.
The Casey Malone Show will be right back with more local flavor.
At Kamara, we want to help you find a ring that's as unique as your love. We'll guide you through the entire process, from deciding between natural and lab-grown diamonds, discovering the perfect stone, to finding the setting that fits your style. And with our in-store repair services, we'll make sure your ring looks stunning for years to come. Whether you're looking for timeless elegance or a modern twist, we'll work with you and your price range to find the perfect ring.
You already know us for our top-tier windows, but what about our advanced gutter systems? With our Double Pro gutter filtration, 2 layers of industrial-grade aluminum keeps debris out of your gutters and drives rainwater away from your home. Plus, our continuous hanger technology reinforces your entire gutter system for maximum strength and drainage. And we'll install it all in as little as 1 day. Why wait for the next storm to get gutters that perform? Not only do we stand behind our gutters, we hang on them.
Bobby Fellman. And I'm John Stanko from Boardman Subaru, where the Subaru A Lot to Love event is going on now.
Check out some of the safest vehicles on the road with standard EyeSight driver assist technology and symmetrical all-wheel drive.
Test drive the Subaru Crosstrek, named a Best New Car by Auto Trader and a 2-time Car and Driver Editor's Choice.
Award-winning vehicles and award-winning service.
Only at Boardman Subaru, just south of Route 224 on South Avenue.
I'm Elizabeth Bernard. For more than 30 years, I've provided our Valley with sound legal advice. My associate Jennifer Rigetti and I will be your legal representatives if you're involved in a car, truck, or motorcycle accident. Don't try to handle it yourself. We'll navigate the red tape of dealing with doctors, medical insurance, and all the obstacles that you'll face. Remember, there are no upfront fees on personal injury cases, and hiring a lawyer does not mean you have to go to court.
Call attorney Elizabeth Bernard, local legal experience for more than 30 years.
I'm here at the Braceville African American Heritage Museum, better known as BAUM, and the project manager here is Terry Shavers. And this would be the newest museum to come to our area in quite a while.
I think it's the only African American museum in Trumbull, Mahoning, Stark, and several other counties, Portage included. A group of us get together, we have community reunions, and so that community reunion was in 2021 if I'm not mistaken. So they said that what we should do is we should try and find a way to preserve the African American history of our community, otherwise the history will be lost.
What makes Braceville, so significant for this museum?
We think that the African American community in Braceville was the largest rural African American community in Ohio at one point in time. My mom and dad were a little bit of historians, my mom in particular. She saved all newspaper articles. She would cut the newspaper articles out of the newspaper. My dad was a photographer, right? And he liked to take photographs, and we had probably 34 photo albums. So it was a good foundation to start this. So that makes it a little bit personal, but I think that the overall objective was just to be able to preserve the history of the entire community. This community also has what we think was the first recorded African American in Trumbull County, 1830 census. So there is no other primary evidence that there's a person in Trumbull County, African American in Trumbull County prior to
1830.
1830 census. And we have 3 standing Underground Railroad houses in Braceville today. So there is evidence that there was Underground Railroad activity in the community.
So Annette, you kind of started this whole thing with the Braceville Blessings. You got all these people together, and that's how it all came to be.
Well, it was a joint effort, and it started during COVID. And we donated money, and we bought supplies, and we put them in a basket, and we put them outside the door, mostly of seniors.
How did you find all these people that you knew needed some help?
Well, they were all people I grew up with. It was a neighborhood. All the people are from Braceville. There's 7 of us. 2 of them are from Warren, Pastor Heller and his sister, Yvelda. So we all got together and we donated money, and me and my sister, we went shopping and we bought supplies, cleaning supplies, food, dry goods, and things like that. And Terry and Gwen, and we all just delivered around the neighborhood.
That's
and
really
then we
nice.
Adopted a classroom. In fact, the girl she went to our church, and we went to her classroom, asked what we could do, and we bought supplies and delivered them to the school.
And you're also the president of this fine organization, Madam President. And so you're pretty busy.
Not so much as them.
Well, there are so many moving parts to how all these things came to be. But you and Pastor Heller really started with the videos of the original residents that were still around. Why did you start interviewing all these people?
Well, Pastor Heller would come to church and tell all the stories that he heard from the older residents in the community. And it was so exciting, and I thought, this guy really loves Braceville. So I said, what do you think about us going and videoing them? And so he set it up, and we just started videoing them, and we would go for a little short video, and it would turn out to a couple hours of just stories and fun and just wonderful memories. Brian Broom, he's a Kirkus Award winner in 2022. He wrote Punch Me Up to the Gods. We've got Guys, the pit master of barbecue sauce. He's in Braceville.
First one to do the sugar-free,
Yeah,
on the
really?
shelves, right? I've never seen sugar-free barbecue sauce. But Guy,
Yeah, and his brother is the one that produced the film.
okay, when you
Yes.
said heard Hughes, I didn't realize that. And so now you have a movie coming out.
Yes.
And how did you piece that together? Because you had so much content.
Ronnie Hughes, who produced a movie called Gandy Hopper years back, and Terry Shavers worked on that, and it took him about 2.5 years to put everything together. And I don't know how they did it, but it has turned out to be an amazing documentary.
I mean, you have really taken this little community and really brought it out for everyone to understand, that's just a huge feat. Well, this room has everybody from Braceville that is involved with sports, and you have a lot of famous people, Ted.
A lot of relatives in this room, but the one noted person, of course, is Ernie Shavers.
Right. That is a great portrait of him.
Yeah, and of course he fought Muhammad Ali, Larry Holmes, and Jimmy Young. My dad, Ted Toles Jr., he played in the Negro Leagues. My uncle Walter, he ran at Ohio State. He went to Braceville, of course. In 1958, he won 3 running events, the 100, 220, and the 440. And that was the first time it had been done since Jesse Owens had did it in 1935, I think.
Ted Toles Jr., he's my uncle, but he's a Negro League Hall of Famer. He played for 14 different teams in the Negro League. Well, to me, sports is like a universal language. People either they like baseball, tennis, track. So when people get involved in those types of things and they have to work together as a team, they always form they have a sense of unity and community. And that's the basis of Braceville. The unity in our community was so strong. I was everyone else's child in the community.
Everyone was looking out for
you. They were looking out for me. They could give me instruction. That is what this little community of Braceville that I grew up in had that was so special. It was love, it was discipline, it was hard work. The unity that we don't see in communities today is something that forms, and there's a bond of love, a bond of support. And so I think that's what our community had that made it so special.
The Casey Malone Show is sponsored in part by Denise and John York and the DeBartolo Corporation.